Our next talk is Sustainability Challenge and the Role of Hackers by Igor Nikolic. Enjoy.
Okay, so thank you. So technology is, as always, working. So as I briefly mentioned while we were setting up, here's a TLDR just because it is useful to have one. If you're going, what the heck is going on, you either stay or decide to leave now, so that's up to you. Then after TLDR, we of course have to have RTFM. Now the RTFM is, I get excited and I start speaking very fast, kad se uzbudim, ovo volim, onda pričam vrlo brzo i onda uletim u tehnički engleski, ako je to prebrzo, samo ovako da mi mašete, ok? To mi pomognite, maši pa ću da usporim. Ako ne vidim, eto, hvala, onda ću malo glasnije. Znači, ako se ne razumem, ako sam prebrzo govorim engleski, samo usporite, ok? Mašite ovako. Molim vas, pitajte pitanja za clarification. Nemamo diskusiju, zato imamo nakon ove sesije, bit će u Pupinu diskusija, so please clarifying questions. And thank you so much for coming. So, with that out of the way, Sustainability Challenge and the Role of Hackers. So such a small and narrow technical topic. So let's just dive into it and see where this takes us, and take an intellectual journey on reflecting on the world around us, ourselves, and what we do in it. But first, a bit of context. So who am I? I'm an engineer. I try to unfuck the world with science. So stand back. I'm trying to use science here. I'm a hacker at RevSpace in The Hague. I play with fire and steel, with electrons and bytes, and microorganisms and light and stuff like that. I teach. I tell stories, as those who spoke to me recently. I cannot also stop telling stories. I organize things. I'm a wannabe artist, and I'm also dad, which is one of the more complicated things. And this is just fire, because fire is never boring. So where does this whole story start? It really does start, well, about 4 billion years ago, but that's a bit too far. It starts in the mid-60s, okay? Who has heard about the Silent Spring, the book over there? One there, thank you. So Silent Spring, this is arguably the piece that started the environmental movement on our planet, right? Rachel Carson wrote a book that said, look, there is DDT. DDT kills insects, which is awesome, but it also makes the eggs of birds really brittle. There will be no more birds because the eggs get squashed by the moms, and we are going to have a silent spring. There will be no birds. And that's the first time sort of the global society realized, wait, we have a problem with chemicals, with pollution, and then slowly discussion started, right? So it's the 60s. Before that environment, there is no environment, there is just forests and whatever. And then, about 10 years later, this image showed up. So it's a aspect ratio change, so normally that's round. Well, some people think it's flat, but okay, it's actually round, okay? And this is NASA that took the famous image, the blue marble. And this is really the first full-color image of the planet. It is the first time humanity looked back at itself and said, wait, this is us. Everything you ever knew, everything that ever happened, and everything that ever will be, all the stories, all the things that make us who we are, is on that small little rock somewhere floating in endless darkness. Whoa, all right? So that really shook humanity to the core, and from there on, we started thinking about, wait, we are not just machines and things that we are, but there is a whole planet around us. So if we sort of take this perspective, then we can really think about ourselves as this biogeochemical, socio-technical system. Okay, anybody playing bullshit bingo? This is like bingo, right? Everything that you could possibly think of is in this one line. So why? Well, so there is us, the ball of rust, right? We are on an iron planet, about half the mass is iron. Silicon, we are floating in space. Spaceship Earth, that's literally what we are. Now that rock, that rusty ball, is covered with a really, really thin layer of green slime, wet green slime. Right? It's a 40-kilometer thick crust, basically diameter, and then there is maybe like a kilometer or maybe a few hundred meters of us. Yeah? And then, in that thin layer of green slime, the biosphere, There's us with our infrastructures, with our computers, with our capture the flags, with our Arduinos, with power plants, with the Taliban, with Burek, with everything in between. It's all there. Chevapi, of course, don't forget that, yeah? So, okay, so here we are floating in space with Burek and everything. So how, but wait, that's not a static thing, all right? We are in, and again, more bullshit bingo here, planetary times flux. That's pretty awesome. So what do I mean by that? I mean times for times, information, mass, and energy flows across space, physical space, right? So a planet and all of us in it are open systems. We eat, we poop. Planet does the same thing. Energy comes in, high temperature sun, radiation, infrared, radiates out. All of these things are open. There's energy fluxes. There's always differentials. There is no balance. There's only flow and potential. And so this evolving, flowing, changing system is the spaceship Earth that we unexpectedly became the captain of. So we are there, Captain Picard, going, let's go warp 7, but we don't have data, we don't have anything, we don't know how we're flying because nobody taught us how to fly. So now we have to teach ourselves how to run a spaceship. And 2,000 generations ago, bacteria do that in 8 minutes. We were in Africa making fire with stone tools, telling stories. Primitive societies, hunter-gatherers, and now we're here. So we're learning, but are we learning to crash the spaceship or are we learning to go to warp 7? We don't know, we'll see. So recently, the New York Times came up with this. I thought it was pretty awesome. You can type in your location of birth, and I'm from Novi Sad, so it's really awesome to be here. And I'm roughly that much old. I'm not doxing myself completely here, but somewhere from the 70s. So what this is a plot, I don't know if you can see it, is how many days of extreme temperatures would I have experienced as a kid, right? So climate change, versus what am I likely to get in Novi Sad if I'm around 80 years old. Now, I like summer, I like hot weather, but that doesn't look too good. Okay, so something is going on here. You also have to realize a carbon monoxide molecule takes 40 years to go from here to the stratosphere, where it does its thing for global warming. So all the climate change, all the exceptional weather, all of the global warming we see today is from the emissions from the 80s. Right? So if you're from the 80s, you are old. Yes, that's 40 years ago. So that's interesting, right? We almost doubled our emissions since the 80s, and we are now already having pretty bad weather. We're having extreme climate. We're having hurricanes stronger than ever. We know this is happening, and the worst is yet to come. Woohoo. Now, why? Why do we have this? Why are we driving the spaceship Earth into the ground rather than to warp 7? Well, because it's cheap. It's really cheap to crash the economy. It's really cheap to crash planet Earth. And we do that because the way we organize the society is what we would call the linear economy, right? You go to some hole in the ground, you dig up minerals, you use them, and you throw them away. Nice and cheap. You don't pay for digging, you don't pay for throwing away, linear. Now, okay, so that doesn't work because stuff is running out. I'll show you in a second. We can try recycling, but that's kind of sort of okay, but that costs energy, you're wasting materials, and ideally what you want to do is do this. This notion of circular economy. You want to have materials and energy, well, materials flow around, mass is conserved, energy cascading from the sun. We could basically live on this planet forever. I mean, biology has done that for a very long time. Crashes, comes back, fine. But, you know, can we keep this up? Well, let's look at some numbers, right? So I'm trying to back up all the graphs with sources and everything. So here are from graphs from a recent United Nations resource panel. Data on the quality of ores. So what you can see up, and again, I apologize for the squeeze, I was expecting a broader screen. This is the concentration of gold in ore over time across different continents, right? So on the top, we have Australia, which is a major source of gold. It used to be around, I can see it here better than you can. You used to have, sorry, the up is copper. So you used to have about 25% copper in your ore. Well, that's easy way to make money, right? You dig it up and that's fine. Right now, we are happy if you can find an ore that has 2 to 3% copper. No, that's a hell of a drop. Below, you see gold. We've gone from, I think about 50%. So nice thing about gold, you find clumps of it, right? Now we're down to like 2. Okay, so that's nice. So where the hell did that gold go? Well, to the trash heap. Because, well, we dug it up, we used it, they throw it away. Oops. Okay, so why don't we then just dig up the trash piles and use that? Well, it's not that easy, you know, it's complicated. So why is it complicated? Now, this graph, you can find a link to the paper there, and if it paywalls you, then, you know, Sci-Hub and chill. Much better than Netflix and chill. For the rest, I'm not advocating any piracy, but, you know. Anyway, so this wonderful work, Markus Reuter, who did analysis of the technology that we have on our planet. So we have technology for processing metals. I could have picked any other material, but this is metals. So for metals, we only have like 5 or 6 processes, technical processes, metallurgy, chemistry, that can extract natural mixtures, natural ores, sulfates, oxides, nitrates, and turn them into metal. So that's for 5 basic materials, right? We have iron, manganese, chromium, zinc, copper. That's kind of what we use. All the other metals that we make, every single metal that's like neodymium, all the fancy stuff we need for sustainable development, are byproducts of these main processes. Okay, so that's awesome. Nature mixes, because of biochemistry, geochemistry, materials a certain way. Now you dig it up, you separate it, you take a piece of steel, you put chrome on it, because hey, chrome bumpers, that's awesome. Then you take a bit of copper wire, wrap around it, and you put it in an aluminum box. Because hey, it's cheap. And then you shred your car, let's say, and now you have tiny little pieces of chrome, iron, nickel, aluminum, and copper. There is no technology on the planet that can separate that. Okay, so you invent technology. Well, there are mixtures, azeotropes, that you cannot separate thermodynamically. So we have mixtures that we can never ever separate. Oops. So there's a pile of stuff that's kind of useful, but not really, because we've just mixed it up. Okay, so that's technology is moving forward, it's helping us, but it's also messing things up, and can we recover? Okay, so why are we doing all of these things? Why are we mixing these materials? Well, because we want technology, we want health, we want life, we want people, right? The goal of humanity is more people, you would think. So let's look at this. A very nice graph from the Milken Institute US, and they're looking at number of people mapped against, so over time, and various points where technology got discovered, various kinds of tech. Right, so one of the really awesome things that we ever came up with was agriculture. Like not walking around finding stuff, but actually sticking to the ground and then coming back. That's pretty awesome. You don't have to search, right? It means, of course, we have to sit down. Hey, then pottery, we could make clay, bake it, it's waterproof. Now you can store wet things forever, that's very nice. Then we start, you know, the plow, irrigation, metallurgy. We start, you know, being able to form metal. That's pretty awesome, because that's much better than finding a sharp stone. And so on and so forth. It keeps on going until a few interesting things happen here, and then bomb. Right? Any system engineers here? Step function? Anyone? Yeah, step functions. That's what we are. We are a natural step function. We just happen. Bomb. A meteorite. Right? Geologists talk about the Anthropocene. We are a geological force. Okay, so there's more of us. There's much more of us, because again, these are from about 6 to 9 billion people. And it's not just that there's more of us, but look at this one. This is how old we get. Right? So there is Japan, classic. There is Norway. There is US. And there's Serbia. Right? So you need to do something about the smoking, because this is not working, guys. You're not going to be like Japan. Okay, and then there's Nigeria. Right? And not so healthy. Second World War, you know, people die and stuff. But then, hey, we are rising. Okay, so not only there is more of us, 6, 7, 8 billion, we're living longer and longer, and there's a nice Nature paper, there's a link over there. Currently, we expect that first people are born who will live to be comfortably 125. Now just let that sink in, all right? More and more people getting older and older, becoming richer and richer, That's this one. Using more resources, because what do you do when you're richer? You buy more shit. Now, that stuff happens to be full of copper, full of gold, requires more water, more energy. Oh, wait. Right? So currently, if every person in the world would be living like Americans, sorry, American friends, we need 3 to 4 planets just for the materials, energy, and water. Now, if you think, hey, but I'm European, I'm pretty awesome, we are nice and efficient, well, it's only 2.5 if you're European. So, nah. I don't know, that doesn't fit, right? Wealth, right? You know how to read histograms, right? So this is about, what, 90% of the world. It's pretty poor. And then there is a few of us that are extremely rich, right? So there was a recent article that said that about 50% of the world's money fits in a bus, right? Not that those people ever take the bus, they own the bus company, right? But you can stick 50 people in a bus and you will have half the world's money. That is questionable. Is that sustainable? I mean, how much can you eat? How much can you consume? Okay, but so, okay, sure, a few rich people, that money is locked up on accounts, it's in derivatives, some are financial markets, it's not doing any harm. Sure, but we are getting richer, all of us, right? One of the big successes, next to the many, many failures of the capitalist systems, is that we are slowly but surely getting richer, but not equally, right? So this is the famous elephant graph from Branko Milanovic, one of the, he's originally from Belgrade, the chief economist in the past at the World Economic, WF, so EMF, sorry. And so he looked at what is the increase in wealth the last, say, 20 years or 10 years. And what you see is that if you're a white middle-class Western, you're not doing so well, all right? If you are rich, of course, you became even richer. But if you like Chinese middle class, if you're South American middle class, if you're African middle class, you're doing very well. You're getting richer and richer and consuming more, which is cool unless you, of course, realize there's 2 billion Indians and there's 1.5 billion Chinese who are now getting much richer, as it's their right to do so, requiring meat, fridges, satellite dishes, vacations to Honolulu, all of that. Okay. Fine, so we know this, right? I'm not telling you nothing new. This is well-established science. We have the metrics, we know. But why are we not doing anything about it? How are we not able to think about it? Are we not able to mentally agree on what to do? Well, there is a little problem, and I like to call this the monkey space, okay? So here we are, monkeys, right? So Richard Dawkins liked to say, we're all Africans, right? That's where we came from. Humanity is an African species. Several waves left from Africa, but that was, say, 50 to 100,000 years ago, depending on which science you look at. So we are savanna primates, right? Hairless primates. Now, the thing, if you want to be a successful primate in a savanna, you have to have some properties. You have to be able to think at scale, right? So you think at the scale of 5 kilometers, 1 hour walking, right? That's, most people find that already a pain in the neck to walk, but you can imagine walking for 1 hour, 5 kilometers. You can think with some effort on the next season, right? If you're in Northern Europe, you know you have to think about the winter because you will be hungry and maybe dead if you don't plan ahead. So you can think next season, 6 months, but that's hard, okay? We invented pensions to deal with that because people cannot think 80 years ahead. We invented insurances because we cannot think ahead. You can think about in scales of 150 to 200 people. Dunbar's number, average number of followers on Twitter is about 200 to 300. Number of friends on Facebook is that. That's us. Past 200, it's them. And we humans really like us and them. Well, we don't like them, but we like us, right? That's why it's so much worse if a kid in your street gets hit by a car than if a tsunami hits Philippines and 150,000 people die. It's like, some faraway brown people. I don't know, I don't care. I don't know them, they're far away, I cannot even think that scale. But that kid, that's real bad. And it's not because you're a bad person, that's because you're human. Okay? Now at the same time, the problem of the spaceship Earth is a 40,000 kilometer problem. Can you imagine 40,000 kilometers? I cannot. I know it's a lot. far away, but I cannot walk 40,000 kilometers. I have no physical understanding of that. I cannot think 100 years. If I'm lucky, looking at my Balkan genetics, maybe I'll make it to 80. If I cut back on burek and cevapi, right? But maybe not. So that's already like a lifetime away. You know, after I'm dead, what do I care? Sustainability is at least a century, if not 10 centuries, millennia. It is about 7.6 billion people. What does that number even mean? Can you imagine that number? No, you cannot. Nobody can. It is about complex, adaptive, non-intuitive logic, about evolving, adapting systems, whereas our brains are hardwired for, oh, it's yellow, it has stripes, has teeth, I should probably run away or become breakfast. Right? That's how we reason. Immediate threats, immediate action. We are very good at that. Mental shortcuts, not sophisticated reasoning. And it takes training. We go to school for 20 years to learn how to reason, and we still suck at it. I'm a teacher, so I know. Yeah? Okay, so that's problematic, right? We are not wired biologically to deal with the sustainability at the global scale. To make it worse, there's always the brilliant XKCD. And to me, you know, just let this sink in for a second while I take a sip of water. Yeah? So if you're this ant, it makes perfect sense. Right? They're in your kitchen. They're highly sentient. They're communicating with pheromones, and there's just no pheromones. There must be no intelligence. Right? It is Einstein that said it is the theory that determines what we can tell. So we have this very narrow understanding of reality. Because, well, we understand it through our eyes. The two little holes in our skull, meat-based sensors, 400 to 800 nanometers. Right? In this room, I don't have to tell you that electromagnetic spectrum is a little bit wider than 400 to 800 nanometers, right? It goes from hundreds of kilometers if your gamma ray burst or radio burst, down to the gamma radiation and Planck scales, and we are just tiny little bit, and that's everything there is those 400 to 800 nanometers, right? The little slit we look at the world. The 5 things we can taste, the few hundred chemicals we can smell. At the same time, there's gigabits of data going through me right now. There's radio, there is radioactivity, there is sound as I cannot hear, chemicals I cannot smell, whole reality that I have no idea about. Okay, and then there is 6 billion of us spread across this nice little planet. We all believe things, we all want things, we all have ideas of what's important and what's holy. And there's a whole lot of ideas about what's holy. And in the name of the loving God, an incredible amount of people have died. So how do we then run this spaceship Earth if we're blind, if we are maybe not necessarily stupid, but ignorant, if we're limited and we can't even agree? Plus, this is a small set of known cognitive biases, right? We have various ways how we fool ourselves. Confirmation bias, My friends talk about something, so I believe that, so therefore it's true. Some authority said, a guy on television says it must be so, so it's so. Or recency bias. I had recently breakfast this morning, therefore there is no world hunger. There is no world hunger. I went to the hotel, there was like tons of food. I don't know, what are you talking about? Right, climate change, global warming, but it snowed yesterday. Literally, somebody in US Congress said that. I'm not kidding you, right? It snowed, it's really cold, there is no global warming, and you just go, there is not enough face palms you can do for that. And then, we also have this, right? The Dunning-Kruger effect. The good old Mount Stupid, right? Most of us are in that far side of the graph. Because the vast majority of things we know, we are really stupid about. A few things we know a lot, but most things, we're like, oh yeah, I heard this guy talk about it, and all the refugees are real bad, they're all thieves. How many refugees do you know? Not one. Oh, right. Oh, but computers are really easy. I've seen a guy push buttons and they like hack when stuff goes on the screen. And we go like, no. But then maybe we're equally stupid at other things. So you don't know that you don't know. And if you get lucky, you can move past the Mount Stupid and you go, oh fuck, I have no idea. Right? So the more I know I don't know. And very, very, very slowly I realized, oh, maybe I do know a little bit, somewhere about a tiny little bit of universe. But most humans on most areas never go past bound stupid. And then we have to run a spaceship Earth. Okay. So, after all of this hand waving, let's go down to the nitty-gritty. There are a bunch of hacker patterns that I believe are relevant and we should talk about this. So this is a warning, we are leaving science. We are leaving facts, we are entering my observations of 10 years of running around the hacker spaces and doing stuff and geeking around. All of this is very clearly biased, right? Because even me, I'm human, and of course I'm way smarter than you, so, and even me, okay, you know, you get it, right? Sure, colored, and this is the best, to my knowledge, these things are real. But I'm sure you will disagree. So, we need to talk about the good patterns, we need to talk about the bad patterns, and we also need to talk about the ambiguous patterns. There are things that are both. So, what are some positive patterns? We love sharing, we love openness, right? It's all open source, this is a Linux machine, I've mainly seen Linux machines here at the conference, that's great. Code, designs, knowledge, ideas. You walk into HackerConf, say, oh, could you help me? Of course. Now that's amazing. There are very few places where this happens. We try to be inclusive, right? We try to get people to join up. We keep the organization keeps the ticket prices low. We really try to bring people in. Now, of course, being a hacker, being a skilled technologist requires natural ability. We are not born equal. We are worth equal. All people are worth equal, but we don't have the same skills. I cannot run 100 meters under 8 seconds, or under 20, or maybe under 40 even, right? I'm a middle-aged, balding guy that has back problems because he sits a lot. So many things I cannot do. But, you know, I can do this, sort of, or at least I get paid to do it. Doing these kinds of things as hacking and learning and being skilled requires a tremendous amount of privilege. And I hear you think, okay, so, you know, you're this rich white guy living in the West, what do you talk about privilege, and I'm a poor student in Serbia. But even that, compared to a lot of people, you're still incredibly privileged. Right, you're white, makes a hell of a difference in this planet. Most of you are male, still a hell of a privilege. Nothing you can do about it. No, you didn't choose to be born a white male, but that happened to you. But that's different than being a black female in Africa infected with AIDS and being 15 and pregnant. They're real. They're also there, and they have not the same chances as you do. So we have to be cognizant of that. You have still money to be here. You're not starving on the streets. Most of us are incredibly engaged. We care. There's crypto parties, and we are passionately talking about things, and we are, you know, we want to make the world better or safer or more hacked or something. Yeah? And there are also a bunch of negative things. We also have weird, wrong patterns in the communities globally, I think. We have limited diversity, right? So I've actually gone out and did some statistics about the place I live. I live in The Hague, Netherlands. For Serbia, very well known. Scheveningen is a part of The Hague. It's a nice beach and it has a nice little square building with bars on the windows. Yeah, that. So in The Hague, about 57% of the people are born in Holland. 35 are non-Western immigrants, so that's a Dutch polite way of saying brown people. 18 are Western immigrants, so all the good Polish and Americans and Brits, so the Dutch are incredibly racist. Sorry for my Dutch friends here, not all of them, but many are. And about 50.4% are women. Yeah, humans, you know. My hackerspace, which is a really nice, friendly place, and I really love it to pieces, has about 1% people of color, somebody who's not white, about 1% of us. And most of them are like half mixed. Right? Okay, so that's interesting. We have about 5% females, and we have about 15% immigrants, and most of them are the good ones, right? White. So I clearly don't agree, so don't get me wrong, right? But that's how a politician would frame this. So that's weird, right? So how come that there's such a difference in the hacker culture, in hacker community, compared to general population? I don't know, but that's clear. There is a problem. At least I believe that's a problem, because greater diversity, we know from complexity sciences, greater diversity brings far superior decision making, makes better decisions, better systems. Elitism. Who has ever had losers on their operating system? I know there are sysadmins here, right? You had sheeple, we know about sheeple, right? The ID 10T errors, right? there is always this thing of, oh, we are better than the others because we are smart nerds, and the sheeple are just out there going, listening to whatever. So why do we do this? Are we that much better? No, we are equally stupid in different ways. Is this because we have, we are nerds and we have below average social skills? Is it because it's the in-group versus out-group, right? So because we have been the crazy, nerdy kid at school that everybody picked upon, so we had to find our nerdy friends, and now we feel safe in numbers, and the others are just, the horrible other ones? I don't know, but there is a tension that we need to watch out. Because if you walk into a room and say, look, I am a brilliant, super smart guy, and you're all idiots, that's not how you should talk to each other. Okay. And of course, we love technology, right? There's an app for that. And I do blame Silicon Valley for this, right? So there is really that obsession of solving social problems with more tech, throwing more machines and computers and apps at it. I mean, is this a matter of leaky abstractions, right? We love digital world because we're nerds. We like nicely organized, black and white, binary, clear systems. And social systems are messy, horrible, full of emotions, and the icky girls. You can pick up cuties from girls, and is that? I don't know. Is it because we just truly believe technology is the answer, or is it because if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and we just have a really big, powerful hammer? All of these, but we need to be aware of that. And then there's a whole bunch of very ambiguous stuff that's both good or bad. We are very idealistic in general, right? We really care. Look at the crypto parties going on. Look at me ranting about sustainability. Look at all the people who are passionate about stuff. And we tend to be very non-compromising and unreasonable sometimes, because you have to use open source even if it's really, really hard to use and it's really pain in the ass, but we will do it anyway because we believe in it. It's like, oh God, get a life and just install Windows and just use Facebook and don't worry about it. No. On the other side, Bernard Shaw, I hope you can read it, so let me read it for you. The reasonable man adapts himself to the conditions that surround him. The unreasonable man adopts surrounding conditions to himself. All progress depends on the unreasonable man. Okay, so you got to be obsessed and unreasonable to move the world forward. So, but then you are that one annoying nerd that's always making noise. So how does that work? I don't know. But we need to find the balance there. Superstar cultures, right? If hacker community has one thing, it has superstars, right? It has famous people that, oh my God, and they came to our conference and that's amazing and they're really nice. Humans need and humans want leaders, right? We are social animals. There's a reason why we organize in our hierarchical systems that's efficient, that works, and offloads thinking. So I can worry about this when the manager worries about that, right? We know this works. People who lead groups of people often do this out of sense of responsibility. I honestly believe I should help a group. They inspire and lead by example, if done right. If done wrong, becomes elitism. It becomes abuse of power. Things turn into personality cults. And that's wrong. Why? I'm not gonna contribute to you being even cooler. And so there is a very interesting message about leadership I would like to share with you. This is a short, and this one I forgot. Hacking is a rich people game, right? Money, capitalism is like gravity, right? If you cannot stand gravity, you don't get to live, right? You get squashed, you don't get to get babies, you become breakfast, and that's it. So you have to be sufficiently strong to withstand gravity. You have to be sufficiently rich, economically useful to have an income, right? We spend a lot of effort helping the weaker in a society, but you don't want to be handicapped or uneducated, right? So you can afford to hack around. Even if you're here and if you're a school kid and you think, oh, I'm poor, you're still rich enough to hack around. So on the other side, so that's not a good thing, it's exclusive. On the other side, well, if you're rich enough, you can also afford to help others. So, what people say, don't look down at people unless you are going to help them to stand up. So, are you looking down to help somebody up? Are you looking down and saying, haha, look at you being poor and stupid? So, leadership, look at this one. Oh, audio. It's really short, 3 minutes. Okay, so what he's doing, I'll just narrate. This is a festival somewhere in the US. There's a guy dancing. Okay, he's like just going out of his mind. I don't know if he has drugs or something, but he's clearly having a good time. But he was alone, and then something magical happens. Somebody else stands up and goes, dances with him. Now what's interesting, this guy doesn't just go like, oh, you're a weirdo who's dancing with me. No, you're my friend. So he embraces him physically, he gives him a hug. Oh, now there's 2 of us dancing, but wait, when there's 2 people dancing, suddenly 2 is a crowd, right? And then very slowly, and that's what our speaker is telling you if you could hear him, is suddenly, after a few seconds, the 3rd person joins you. See now there's 3, and now 3 is a crowd. 3 is a party and something is going on. There's 3 people dancing. Oh, wait. And then the lady stands up and goes, oh, wait, I'm one of those hipster types. I see something cool happening. I want to be part of it because now there's 3 people dancing. So the 4th people joins. Then the 5th person comes and now something is going on. So everybody who's like, I don't want to look really stupid like that idiot, but wait, now there's 4, so that's safe. I can now join in and now there's 4 of us and look, and then there's 5 of them. And now people who don't want to miss out because something cool is happening also join in. Right? We are herd animals, and that's cool, right? It's okay, you just have to acknowledge that. And suddenly people are running because they don't want to miss the party. They want to be a part of a greater thing that's going on. And then, bam, everybody's dancing. Okay? So what's interesting here is not the fact that it's 5 people dancing, it's the fact that first somebody has to dare to dance first. Now that's glorified. We talk about leaders, people that dare, but the real hero of the story is not the first guy. The real hero is the second guy. Because you have to have the guts to find the crazy guy and join them, or the crazy girl and join them and say, look, I'm going to support you. And together we become a party. Right? So leadership is not so much about being the first. Leadership is about recognizing a good thing and joining in. Think about that for a second. So how does that then work for the things we do here? Right? It's not being the one person that brings a cool project. It is, well, that's that too. But it is being the person that walks up and say, hey, this is an awesome project. I brought this other thing, I can make it even more awesome. Yeah? And then the final ambiguous pattern I want to talk about is technology. Technology is not neutral. We make tech. We choose how to make it, we choose what it means. And sometimes we make it on purpose, right? I've had conference dinners with people from Lockheed Martin in the US whose only job was to optimize the number of dead people per kilogram. That was the target, maximize death per kilo. That was not a lot of fun dinner because I asked him, so how do you, morally support this? He was like, well, anybody who has a problem with this doesn't work for us. Okay, so I stand up, leave the table because I'm not going to sit on that table. Okay? Accidentally, sometimes tech doesn't work out because humans are very creative in abusing and using tech. Here's another video. You might have seen this one. Oh, sorry. Whoops. Go back. One.
All right. So watch this.
So this is a person with a dark skin. No soap.
Black hand, nothing. Larry, go.
White skin.
Black hand, nothing. Larry, go. Racist mother sinks.
So, did somebody say, I'm going to make a faucet that ignores black people? No. They didn't do that on purpose. But they used an infrared sensor that does not reflect off dark skin. They just didn't think about it. Because probably the person who made it and tested it has light skin, works. Never occurred to them to maybe test it with, humans come in all sorts of colors. Maybe you want to test all of them. Are the things what 20% of males is colorblind? Wonderful graph, this wonderful website design, but like 20% of men just cannot see it. You never think about it because you're not colorblind. Yeah? So, what are we then to do as hackers? What can we do? And I'm about to wrap up now. I'll try to give you some concrete examples. These are things that I believe work. They work in my context. Maybe they don't work here. I don't know, but think about it. So, first, vote. Now, what do I mean by vote? Well, first, vote with your ID. If you want to fix the world, go vote for people who also want to fix the world. If they're not there, well, make your own party. If you care about it, do it. Yeah? You can also vote with your wallet. Very, very important. We forget that every single time you go to a store and you use this, you are voting. You are saying, this is a good thing because I gave you money. This is a bad thing, I did not give you money. And even if you have not a lot of money, you're still voting. Right? Why is Maya index sandwich popular? Because you vote with your wallet, you go to them, you don't go to some other guy. Yeah? So, when you can, choose greener. Often, you cannot. Maybe you cannot afford it, but if you can, do it. Energy, food, very important. Food is really important, huge environmental impact. Energy, clothing, cotton is extremely polluting. Buy green cotton. Transport, do you need to fly? Can you get a cleaner vehicle? If not, okay, but if you can, do it. When not, ask for these products. Twitter shitstorms work, right? Why does a supermarket not have a sustainable product? Because they think you don't care. Make sure they receive 20,000 tweets and I'll bet you they'll stock it, they'll bring it. Right? Make them realize. And vote with your feet. Go to things that matter. Right? Don't hang around places that are stupid, places that are wrong. Go to good places, positive places. Be there. Be the follower. Join in. Second point, engage. Engage with local communities. Right? Identify real local problems. Is it the old lady that cannot enter the elevator because she's too old to push the door? Geek out and make a button, make a motor that opens it. It's fun, it's geeky, and you help somebody. Right? Even better, teach your neighbor to help you do that. Because now there's two people who know how to make electronics. Small things. Have patience with noobs, right? We were all noob at some time. Nobody is born with knowledge, nobody is born with skill. But what really matters is, can you find the people who want to learn? Right? And if you want to learn, I care way more about you than if you're super skilled but you don't give a shit. Because you can go somewhere, and that's so essential. Want to learn. Start a hackerspace, or start a repair cafe. Repair cafes, look them up online. I do that sometimes with friends. We go together, sit in a cafe, we announce it in advance, and we repair stuff. For free. People come in, there's a long line, we repair things. From a teddy bear, clean up a Windows machine from crap, put Linux on it, solder, replace batteries for people who don't know how that works. I cannot help everybody, but I've had people cry from joy because I fixed a little clock that was from their husband who died, and now it works again. The lady cried for hours. It's amazing, yeah? Have, organized crypto party for your journalists, right? Try to help them to keep you safe from the politicians. Start a coder dojo. It's online, there's a whole script, download it, you got a logo, there's a story how to do it, just do it. Provide free or cheap hosting for your local organizations if you're a computer guy or girl. Find old computers, fix them, put Linux on them, give them to schools. Whatever, just do stuff around you because we are local, humans are local. You know what they say, think globally, act locally. It's true, it really works that way. Be aware of your work, right? Most of us have jobs, right? Or at least try to get one. So more often than not, you do have a choice. Again, it's easy for me to say with decent salary, well, yeah, just choose where to work. But in tech, you do often have a choice. So, you can say, I'll try to change it from within. So maybe I go work for a nasty company. But, be aware. That can work, but it's really hard, frustrating, and very slow process. You're in for the long battle if you want to do something sustainable, but you work for an oil firm. Pick your battles. Try the evening mirror test. Okay, I really love this one. You come home from work, long day, you look in the mirror, you look at yourself and say, I did good today. Right? If you don't feel like an asshole saying that, there's profit. Right? And if you say that to yourself and you go, yeah, okay, I just sold, more cigarettes to 15-year-olds, I don't know. If that feels wrong, it probably is wrong. Think about tech for poor, underrepresented, oppressed groups. And you know them. You know, is it women around you? Is it LGBTs around you? Is it the black-skinned people around you? Is it the kids around you? There's always somebody who's worse off than you. Even if it feels it's not like that, there are. Think about simple to use, robust, empowering technology. But, very important, listen to them. Because it's so easy to mess up. There is this brilliant and scary example where a well-meaning group has built an app for Syrian refugee women in camps to help them communicate, right? Awesome, because they're really oppressed, they're alone, they're afraid, they have no family and friends, they come from a society that's very patriarchal, woman alone is very, very vulnerable. And they put their location on the map so others can find them. Like, no, you have just identified rape targets. Don't do that. Talk to them, ask what they need. Don't assume what they need. Some examples. For example, you want to get into open source farm machinery? Awesome project. Open source ecology. Design open source machines, farms that a kid in Nigeria can build a tractor, or at least a plow and use it. There is a wonderful project. I didn't want to put all the links. You can Google that. It's a water drum that is a wheel that you can put a rope around it and pull. Simple piece of plastic, but now a girl or a woman doesn't have to carry 30 liters of water on her head, but can just take a rope and pull 30 liters of water from the well. Amazing, huge difference in energy. You know, there's a big project, some of my friends at the hackerspace are involved, building electric batteries, better batteries for rickshaws in India. So like, why is that the thing? Well, because there's a huge number of women leaving prostitution and becoming rickshaw drivers. And these rickshaws now use lead-acid batteries that they don't know how to use correctly, so they get exhausted very quickly and they dump them in the river and buy more. They're building a self-contained, intelligent lithium-ion pack that you can just swap out, put in your rickshaw, and keep on driving, keep on earning money for your kid. Learn to weld. Make rocket stoves. Rocket stoves make almost no smoke. Give it to people who are in poor villages and still burn wood for their energy, so you can reduce their smoke intake 99%, make them healthier. Small things like that. Make it easier to do good. I think it's very important. No, why is PGP still so difficult to use? Come on, let's get our asses together and just fix it. No, write how-tos, write manuals, explain stuff to people, and you don't have to even talk to them. Put it online. For the love of God, don't make YouTube videos about how to do simple things, right? If it's a 3-minute thing, write 3 lines of text, not 10-minute videos, but okay, right? Document, translate, right? Really easy. So if you're not like a superstar programmer, but you speak a language, find an open source project, translate stuff. You know, you can do that. Maintain information sources, right? Help people find stuff. Look at boring stuff. You always forget the boring stuff, right? And what is boring stuff? Infrastructures, roads, electricity, sewage. Sewage is really boring, but oh my God, so essential, right? Try to think about, you know, what can I do with sewage? It's like, what the fuck, sewage? Yes, sewage, because, you know, small things you can do there can have huge impacts. Now, of course, infrastructures, industries are the domain of high capital expenditure, big things, you know, consultants, legal departments, all of that stuff. But, and I know these people, there are a lot of very good people in big industries that really want to fix the world, but don't have the skills, don't know things. Talk to them, find them. Find that one nerd engineer at the electrical distribution company, help them do something cooler. And then their bosses will go, oh, that's amazing. Wait, you talk to hackers? Oh, that's cool. Oh, maybe we should, you know, see what is possible and move things forward. For example, there are really cool citizen science projects you can join that monitor air quality. You know, spend €5 learning how to, you know, buy components, learn how to solder, hook it up on LoRa, and now you're doing environmental monitoring. For example, there's the Luftdata.info, Germans doing dust sensors, really awesome. There's the Flood.network, it's a URL. A guy is developing, and guys and girls developing open source flood sensors. It's a €15 device, very, very smart, you know. Build one, hook it up, make sure it works, develop it further. OpenStreetMap, for example, you know, map out the power lines. Super useful to people if they know where the power line is. Maybe they're Maybe something is being planned across their house, or maybe you're helping my colleagues do better science with public data about power lines, stuff like that. You know, world power plants, Indipedia, project of a colleague of mine. We mapped all the world's power plants. You can join in, it's a wiki, add stuff, make it nicer. Disseminate and back up open knowledge. If nothing else, run a mirror of Wikipedia. If it ever something goes wrong with Wikipedia, you have a copy. And then you can have it locally online so people know how to do stuff. They can get knowledge that doesn't get lost. Make a mirror of WikiHow. It has the stupidest things you know how to do, but to many people it's like, oh my God, that's how you do things. You know, host an open source software repository, open a data set. Also, do it for really boring, simple stuff, you know? Do you know how to make soap? Has anybody ever made soap? There you go. I make soap, it's lots of fun. You know, chemistry and... If basic human necessity, if you have warm water and soap, you will not die of infection. You could operate on a human if necessary with warm water and soap. Sterilization and hygiene, simple stuff. Nobody knows how to make it. Have a website that just tracks all documents. Go find old books about how to make chairs. Scan them, put them online. Whatever. Have these things, make it accessible. You're a nerd, you know how to do it. And that, to me at least, are some things you can do. And keep this in mind, right? As the world develops, as we keep on going forward, there is a lot of ways that are, a lot of things that are really simple, but wrong. And media really loves simple stories. And us here, because we are privileged, we're intelligent, we are driven, we can take the difficult but right path. So it's up to us. Thank you all. And I'm happy to answer questions for a few more minutes until we don't eat in the time of the next speaker. And in Pupin, there will be a discussion for those that want to chat more, and then I'll listen and not talk so much. And if not, thanks. The next one starts?
Yeah, in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes, okay. So I have a few questions for, some time for questions. Yes,
10 minutes till next.
Yeah, we good? Okay, so please, thanks. Just shout.
No.
I want the microphone? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll shout. Okay, good.
Hello, thank you for your talk. I always enjoy here listening of political talks, political and technical talks. The thing I would like to ask is about the goal. The goal. Okay, hackers, engineers, all these people tend to forget sometimes about the long-term goal. Okay, so from the history, from the 70s through here, we, as hackers, as people of the community, as engineers, tend to forget, tend to change side. Okay, the system sometimes turning us to another point. So we want more money, we want better stuff. We tend to forget the community, but we know who is the enemy. Okay, and the enemy is winning. We know that the enemy is winning. Mm-hmm. So what do you suggest for that?
I saw the question. You know, we have this idea of there is the bad guys and the good guys. So that is, of course, black and white thinking, right? The world is not binary. The world is super gray and super, super gray. And sometimes the really wrong things end up doing good things on the end, and sometimes really well, you know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, as they say. So I find it difficult to answer that question because what you believe is the right thing to do might be completely opposite my ethic. And I don't know. I mean, you know, you're talking about Pareto optima, right? So what is the thing that helps the most and damages the least? So I do believe that there are things that one should do, you know, reduce environmental impact, increase social justice, make sure wealth is at least better distributed because we know that this doesn't work. Educate people. Smarter people have less babies, have less environmental impact, make less stupid decisions. So there are basic things that always work, in my opinion, but maybe you disagree, right? Maybe the goal is more humans and you know, if you, it's like the sustainability definition from the Brundtland, right? Creating a better future without, so better life for us without endangering our future generations, boils down to, if you logically reason through it, into infinite youth, infinite life, and colonization of the universe. Humans everywhere. I don't know, is that what we want? So yeah, hard question, sorry. But thanks. Other comments, please, questions. Tomatoes. Don't throw cell phones, they're hard and expensive. Anything else? Yes.
Regarding the sustainability and the ecology, which is the most prominent problem, have you ever considered that they might not be a solution to it? That whatever we do, we are going to that over that cliff, because there is no natural or mathematical law which says that we have to survive as a humanity or as a civilization.
Fully agreed.
I would just like to hear your opinion.
No, fully agreed. So, okay, privately, I would like to quote Bender from Futurama. And Bender says, oh, we're boned, right? So I go to sustainability conferences for now almost 20 years. I have yet to find the first optimist. And this is people who spend lifetimes and careers studying sustainable development. Everybody says, basically, we're fucked. Okay, so knowing that, knowing the metrics, I study evolution a lot, right? Evolution is about stuff dying. Evolution is not about stuff succeeding. And we love success because it's so rare. My driver personally is that if I do nothing, then surely it's not going to work. And if I do my damn best, it still might not work. But at least, you know, you went down trying. That's the kind of, but yeah, I mean, you know, if you look at the numbers, there is no, so I honestly do not believe that humans are ever going to die out, because we are just way too smart, way too well organized, way too adaptive. You know, we are generalists with a super specialized organ, which is amazing. Whether civilization in its form of global interconnected commerce is going to survive the next 50 years, I have my doubts. Whether that means autarkic small villages, whether it means Mad Max, whether it means some kind of, I don't know. Nobody knows. If I knew that, then probably my helicopter would be landing here, my yacht would be in Danube, and I'd be the richest person in the world, or world president. But I'm not. I'm just some random dude at HackerCon. But if you don't try, I know. Yay. Anybody else? After these really cheerful and positive and happy words? Yeah, people hate my talks. They always go like, mop, 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 mop. Anybody else? You don't dare? I know, it's that bad. In that case, I thank you so very much, and please, if you want, meet me at the next room and we can chat further.